name's Rexxx. I'm from Carter County, Tennessee. We ain't famous for a whole lot, but we are famous for our moonshine up there. Well, I reckon the first time my pap took me up on Buck Mountain. And I remember the people, like I say, I was real young, probably 6, 7, no older than 8. But I walked in, they had built their house over top of a spring. And the floorboards was open between the table and the kitchen where they didn't have no power. But they kept all their milk and butter in that creek, in that little spring running through pretty much the house. And the older fella motioned to his kids, and they knew to go over and get that gallon jug of moonshine out of that creek, and brought it over to the table where me and my dad was sitting, and poured out a big bowl full, and they used an old aluminum dipper to give them a drink of that liquor. That's the first time I ever seen moonshine. Well, I've always helped people all my life, you know, since I was 16. Myself, I've probably been making it about 7 or 8 years now on my own. You know, just myself. I like to, now instead of making a quantity, I just like to make my own personal, you know, from family and friends, make some real good, you know, real good moonshine now. It's just, I mean, where I'm raised, through high school, you went to a party on the weekends, there may be a keg of beer, but there was always a quart or a gallon of moonshine. You know, it's just the way it was, you know. It's just, you always like moonshine. You know, like I say, we ain't famous for much up there, but we like the moonshine up there. I drank a lot when I was younger. Not much of a drinker now. I do like to drink, you know, what I make, share it with people. But it's just, it's really an addictive hobby. It really is. I mean, that's more than anything, I just like to share what I can do. I volunteer for a camp host at a state park, local state park. In the summertime, I'm disabled. I had some real bad neck injuries about probably 10 years ago. Didn't think I was ever going to be able to do anything else. Prayed real hard, never stopped praying. And now I'm able to get out and enjoy life a little bit. Well, let me think. It's a good question. And we all look after Popcorn Sutton, you know, but as far as heroes, I've really always made my own path, to be honest. I've just always done what the good Lord sent down to me, you know, take it as it comes. I've never really tried to be after somebody, you know, to model myself after anybody. My father, that was my biggest hero. Been gone about 14 years now, I guess. That was my hero. I learned it on my own, by researching and trial and error. You know, like I say, I've helped a lot of people all through my life. You know, helped and been partners, but I just no. I've got a few real close friends. You know, very few, maybe 3, throughout my life that I've held on to. But it's really, I just kind of done it on my own, to be honest. Never thought about it that way. But. Well, I'll tell you one good. I wasn't actually making liquor, but I had all my corn on in a plastic garbage can on the back porch one time, and we had been down in Florida for a couple of weeks, and we come back. My father told me, said I had to go buy some more food for your dog, and said cause there's been a bear out here eating everything. Well, I had all my corn on the back porch there in a big garbage can, and first I'd seen it been scratching at the back door, you know, also. So I called the sheriff's department, had them come up, and they asked, you know, said, you want us to come up and set a trap you know, have the wildlife come up and set a trap for it. I said, no, I just want to know when bear season is. And he said, well, said, you've got a kid in that house, you know. If it comes back, you know, do what you need to do. And he said, if you happen to have to shoot it, call us. Well, I woke up about 4:30 that morning. My dog's barking. And I looked out the window and I'd put me a 100-watt bulb in the back porch light to so I could see real good out there on the back porch where that corn had been set. And I looked up and looked out there and it looked like it was dark, like the light was out. Well, the dogs barked. Well, it was a big bear blocking that whole window. So he raised up. It was a small porch with a little walkway out. He raised up and done like a 180, sat back down and run out in the yard. Well, I thought he was gone, you know. I had my dad's rifle sitting there. I'd went and got just in case. And then I laid back down there. About 30 minutes later, there he was back again. Dogs were barking again. He wasn't as scared that time. But that time he raised up. When he seen me looking out the window, raised up and done a 180 back out in the yard. So third time, I thought, well, I'll beat on his door if he comes back. And when he runs out through, I'll shoot, you know, on the ground and scare him off. Maybe he'll run. Because twice he'd turned around and went off that board. Well, the third time he come back and his butt was up against him. It was a double-wide trailer, and you could just see the door mashing in, you know, where that big bear's in there. And I beat on that door, and that old bear raised up, just like every time before. When he turned around, I throwed that door open, and that bear turned, instead of a 180, he turned to 360, sat back right back down in front of my face. Gosh, his head was that big around. Gray, and it was an old bear. And he was right there, you know, growling at me. It wasn't, well, a lot closer to me to you, sir. And I just had my rifle down here, and I let it loose, you know, to get him out of my face, because I couldn't reach him close. It's close enough to where I couldn't get the door closed back. He was in the way. But it was funny. My neighbor called. Didn't kill the bear. He lived on, but got him off my porch. But, yeah, my neighbor called a couple days later, and well, I called him to warn him, because I thought it might be one, you know, that watch out for it. And he said, oh man, I would have emptied that gun in that rifle. You know, I emptied that rifle on that bear. I'd have killed it. And I said, buddy, I'm just gonna tell you, I was scared to death. And he said, oh, I would have shot, you know, shot till it's empty. He called me about a week later. He said, I owe you an apology. He said, Marielle and his wife, he said, cooked barbecue last night. He said, she'd laid the leftovers in the kitchen and left the window up. And his daughter had horses, and he thought there was some horses out there got in the yard, and he said he could hear them breathing. He said, that bear was up on my windowsill. He said, I had a .45 caliber in my hand. I was scared to death to shoot it so big. But I guess that's about scared of being ever had anything to do with moonshine. The first time I was telling him, my pap took me up there on Buck Mountain, and I seen, you know, I was exposed to moonshine. But I had an uncle down in Florida, Jacksonville, Florida, and he bought some land up on Bear Cage Road up in Carter County. And back then it was a rough place. I mean, Bear Cage Road and Buck Mountain all tied in together. We had a sheriff come in one time. He was Greek. He was from Greece. He put out publicly he was going to tame Buck Mountain, you know, because it was a wild place back then. They would call and report crimes just to shoot the windows out of the car when he come up through there. They'd come back with holes in the police cars. But anyway, my uncle bought that land sight unseen on Bear Cage Road. Well, when my dad found out about it, he told him, said, you know, you don't know where you bought that land. So he come up and wanted to go see it. And we walked up in there, and off the edge of the road, the land went up the track going up, say this way. Up on top of a little knoll there was a single wide trailer. Every room in that trailer had a 2-inch wide slot, you know, so far along. And as we walked up through there, there's a shotgun barrel sticking out there, you know, that followed us up through there. And my daddy knew what was going on. My uncle, he was from big city, you know, architecture. And we walked on up through there, and off to the left down the holler was a big old moonshine still. It was on my uncle's land. Didn't go very much farther, a big old marijuana field, you know. Not a big giant one, but pretty good patch of marijuana. My daddy told my uncle, said, we're gonna turn around, we're gonna walk real slow out of this holler. We're gonna get in that car, and said, I ain't never come back up here. But that was about the end of that land. I reckon he sold it, you know. Sold it sight unseen like he'd bought it. I'm so blessed to have a good daughter and, like I say, my son. I've instilled in them a good work ethic in them, and that's the main thing. They know to be respectful, you know. Always respect your fellow human being, you know, until there's no other way. Like I say, I'm so blessed with a daughter and a son that really been awesome. So, no, they know exactly what they should do, you know. So as far as telling them something, they know. They know Dad loves them, and that's about it. Got an awesome wife, stands beside me for 25 years now or longer. They got to be tough to hang with me too. They do, buddy, but she's tough. Found one tougher than me, I think, bro. My wife, Crystal, I love her to death, you know. But I'm very blessed right now. If the world ended today, I feel blessed, my friend. I do. I think they all know that. It's addictive. Be ready to spend a little money. Had a lot of bad habits in my life. You know, that I'm not proud of. The good Lord brought me out of them. It's one habit I really enjoy. Like I say, I'm not in it to make money or nothing. I just enjoy it and share them with my friends and family. I think it needs to be carried on, you know. It's slowly dying off. As kids are being raised different. So much drugs around where I live, you know, a lot, you see. And I mean, not only the moonshine heritage, just the country, the country life is just losing out, you know, to the hustle and bustle, you know. It's sad. I live on a little farm, you know, little dead end road. Not no big farm. We got chickens and goats and stuff, but it's really awesome. And I just wish that, you know, it's sad. You know, a lot of kids are being raised without their fathers. But I like to help any way I can. I do. I really like being good to people. It's a big welcoming family. It really is. It's like I say, I've been involved with moonshine most of my life, but the family part of it now is something else. It really is. My friend John Boy, awesome guy. All these guys are awesome. I mean, just a different breed, it really is. And we all try to keep this old-timey stuff going, you know. There's a lot of newfangled stuff, newfangled steels and stuff. Not me, myself, I like the old copper, the traditional steels, to each their own. You know, whatever you like, do it. Keep it going. Shine on. I love to help people. I do. If it's, no matter what it is. Seen a guy on Facebook the other day had complained that 2 people had offered to deliver him hay. You know, he was going to pay him. And wanted 9 bales of hay to start him a little above ground garden. And I messaged him. I said, dude, I'll bring you some hay. You know, what, 6 or 8 miles out of my way, I took that man some hay. First thing you want to know is how much I owe you, how much you're going to charge. I said, look, I'll bring you the receipt. You know, that's just the way, what's what you're supposed to do. Everybody that knows me knows how I am. Anybody that don't know me needs to know me. I mean, to know how I am. You know what I mean? I just enjoy life, brother. Thank God every day I open my eyes and take a breath. Everybody needs to do that.